Alright guys, first thing I will say is the chords and lyrics can be found on a document in the description box. Check that out as well. New tutorials every Monday, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. So if you want to learn more songs every week, make sure you drop us a subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys, appreciate that very much. Having said that, good news, there's only 4 chords throughout the entire song. Here we go. So starting out, our first chord that you're going to need to know is a C minor 7. So to do that, you're going to bar the 8th fret, all of the strings like so. And you're also going to add your ring finger, whether you've got a ring on it or not, onto the ninth, excuse me, the 9th fret of your A string. I've got a bit of a cough, so excuse me. 9th fret of your A string, okay? That's a C minor 7th chord, okay? So that's our first chord. Second chord is an E flat. To do that, you're going to bar the 6th fret, all the strings except for our low E, and then we're also going to bar the 8th fret on our B string, G string on the guitar, not the G string on your butthole, and the D string, like so, okay? So that's barring these 3 strings. Now, it's also going to be covering our high E string. Don't worry about that at all, not a problem. Or alternatively, you could also play that bar chord by putting all of those 3 fingers in the same fret like that, just like you would with an A chord. This is an A-shaped bar chord, just like that. But my fingers are too fat and it's too difficult to do that. So I find it easier to lay that finger down. Okay. So that's an E flat chord. Our third chord is, of course, this, what are we up here? We're up on a G minor 7. Okay, so we're barring now our 10th fret, all of the strings again except for our low E string. Then we're going to put our middle finger onto the 11th fret of our B string, and then our ring finger is going to go onto the 12th fret of our D string. Excuse me, jeez. Okay, G minor 7. That's our third chord. And then our final chord is a F. And the F is just like the E flat chord, but 2 frets higher. Like that. Okay, so we've got C minor 7. We've got E flat. We've got G minor 7. And we've got F. And those are the 4 chords that we're going to be using throughout the entire song. So first time we're going to use them is for the riff. Okay, so the first part, we're going to play this low E string by itself. Then we're going to grab the whole chord, mainly the highest strings, so bass chord. Okay, so we're going to go bass chord. And you notice that I'm not even using any other fingers for this because I'm not playing this A string at all. So you can just bar with 1 finger for this first part. So bass chord, and then we're going to reach up with our ring finger, or you can use little finger, whatever, to the 10th fret of our high E string. And we're going to strum the bottom 3 strings once with that little finger on, and then once with the little finger off. Okay, so we've got bass chord, then ring finger down on the 10th fret, and then ring finger off. Okay, so bass chord. Okay. Oh, mate, killing. Okay, so to do that, we're doing down strum, up strum. And they're quite short, sharp, staccato-y. Okay, so have you got that so far? I hope so. Boom, ba, ba, ba. Okay, then the next part of our riff is us moving to our E flat. For our E flat chord, we're going to play. So that is, we're going to do 2 down strums on this A string. Okay. So down, down, and then we're going to grab the chord quickly once. Okay, dum dum ba. That's it. That's all we play for the E flat chord, is 2 muted A string. So to mute, we use our right hand to lie down across the this part of the guitar to mute the string. And we play those bass notes 2 times and grab the chord once. So far we have. Now we've got the fast part. So to do this, we are going to play now on our, where are we, 8th fret of our D string, and we're going to hammer on to the 10th fret. And then we're going to pull off back now to the 8th fret. So that is 8 to 10 on the D string. And we're hammering on and pulling off. So I'm only playing the notes once, and then I'm actually using my left hand to hammer on to the next note and to pull off back to the first note. Okay? So again, the right hand, I'm only plucking the note once, but the left hand is doing the work to play the next 2 notes. So I'm getting 3 notes out of the 1 pluck, if that's making sense. So we're going from 8, 10, back to 8. Okay? And then we're going to go same sort of thing now on our A string. We're going to go 10, 8, 10. Okay? So 10, 8, 10. Now, notice that I'm playing 8, the 10 here on the A string with my ring finger, and then down with my first finger, but then I'm going to slide up intentionally to this new position for that last note, because it's going to form the bar of our next chord, of our G minor 7th chord, okay, which is why we want to slide up now to bring us into that position. So that fast part is, okay, so again, just a reminder, on the D string, we're going 8, 10, 8, and then we go 10, 8, 10 on the A string. Okay? Sorry, and I should say the last note is played with our first finger. Okay? Boom. Now, when we play this note, this G note up here on our 10th fret of our A string, that is the next part of the chord, first note of our third chord, the G minor. So we're going to go bass muted by itself, then the chord, and then we're going to add to this G minor 7 chord, we're going to add this note up here on our 13th fret of our B string with our little finger. Okay, and then we're going to take the little finger off. So we've got bass note by itself, chord once, little finger on, chord again, take little finger off, and chord again. No, I'm doing a tutorial. I need to film. Sorry, can you close the door? Kids. Okay, so that's our third chord. Now, our last chord is our F chord. Now, I know I showed you how to play it with the proper fingering there, but I'm going to suggest for the riff part, we're just going to play it with our one finger, okay? On the 8th fret, on the 10th fret, sorry, barring all of the strings except for our low A and our low E string. So essentially, we're just trying to bar the B, G, and D string, okay? And we're going to strum those notes once, quickly. So B, G, and D string by itself to play this F chord, and then we're going to play, okay? So we get that F chord once, and then we're going to, and this is the awkward part, is that we need to switch fingers to use our ring finger. So after we play that chord once with the first finger, we need to awkwardly jump to our third finger on the 10th fret of the A string and slide up to the 12th fret of the A string. Then we're going to grab this note here, our F, on the 10th fret of our G string with our first finger. So it's got some awkward fingering going on there. If you can find a better way for you to play this part, use whichever fingers you want, go for it. But for me, this is how I do it. Okay. Okay, so chord 1, slide from the 10th to the 12th on our A string. Grab that F note with our first finger on the G string. Get a bit of vibrato, by the way, which is I'm just shaking the note a little bit. And then we finish off with our 12th fret on our D string, 10th fret on our D string, okay? Okay, so again, so from our G minor, that. There we go. Okay, my kids are being very loud in the other room. Hopefully they're not picking up on the microphone, but apologies if they are. If you've got headphones, you can probably hear the whole conversation and what they're saying. Okay, here we go. Okay. So that is our whole riff part. So if we put that together slowly, it would be... right, there we go. So now the next part is our verses, and we're really just it's just a much more laid back. What I would do is I would just play our bass note chord, so bass chord, bass chord, bass chord, bass chord. No, so now for our first chord, it's this low E string, C bass. For our, the next 3 chords, the bass note is found on our A string, okay? A string, bass, A string, bass. Alright, so that's what you can play for out the verses. For the chorus, I noticed that we've got a bit of a combination on the riff, whereas... And this part, they've opted to get rid of the fast picking part, because it's obviously a bit distracting from the lead vocals, so... You know, it's like a combination of the riff. Then the only other part that's a little bit different is towards the end of the chorus, where it's just full on, really laying into the chords with heavy distortion. They made a choice to go heavy there, and that's just all down strumming on those full chords, and it gets dirty in those parts, man. They're really laying into it there. So again, it's the same 4 chords played differently throughout the entire song. What a tune, what a track. Joel Shadbolt, he is an amazing guitar player, by the way. Joel, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider subscribing. New tutorials every Monday, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. If you've got a request for a song, please drop it in the comments. It's always helpful. And we'll see you next week. God bless you guys. Goodbye.